Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back, everyone, to another video for the channel. So tonight, as you all can read by the title, I'm going to be taking a couple of weeks off from YouTube. And the reason I'm taking a couple of weeks off from YouTube is because, well, we end up losing not one, but we lost two family members just within 6 to 7 days. So I would really appreciate for the love and thoughts and prayers at this time. I'm not gonna try to cry, I'm not trying to get emotional. I just want to get this done and out of the way for you all. So let's start with this. So what happened was we ended up getting a call on April 27th. Also, if you all remember from the SpongeBob video that I posted, I ended up talking at the end when I was done playing the game. I talked about a lot of stuff that's been going on some of it. So on April 27th, we end up losing a family member So first off, I want to say was, we lost a family member from my dad's side of the family, and we lost another family member from my mom's side of the family, just within 6 to 7 days. And it's been really, really pretty rough on us, so we really appreciate for the love and thoughts and prayers at this time. So right now, I'm going to tell you all the first one. So my dad's stepdad ended up passing away. So what happened was, we ended up getting a phone call that he was getting worse and worse, and mostly the side of the story with it was, he was getting worse. And we got the call that they gave him 24 hours. That's all he had left, but he beat the odds. Sadly, he ended up passing away on April 27th. But the one positive thing was, my dad actually got to talk to him. He couldn't talk anymore, but he can hear him. So he got to shake his head. He smiled about all the peppers that we gave him and everything. He he actually said that was probably one of the best peppers he has ever eaten in his life. That tells you something right there. So, but yeah, his stepdad ended up passing away at the age of 82. So my dad got to talk to him around 1:30 on the 27th, and then at around 4:27 p.m. he passed. He ended up passing away. I tell you, it took my dad and all of us like a pile of bricks. I tell you, I met him one time, and I tell you, he was the nicest man I ever met. Nicest man I have ever met. So some of you are kind of thinking, well, what about his real dad? Well, I'm going to tell you all this story real quick about his real dad. So I'm just going to cut to it. His real dad, I'm going to tell you all, his real dad was not a very nice guy. Not a very nice person at all. His real dad was a freaking monster, and his dad was a freaking piece of trash. Mostly his dad was a freaking piece of trash. And and I'm also now, I cannot say this one word, but I will say AB. Now some of you will be like, oh no, not that word. Yes, AB. So what happened was, when my dad was a kid, because my dad lived in a house with 8 other siblings. He had a couple of brothers, he had a couple of sisters, and a couple of brothers. Sleep in bunk beds, and they didn't have a lot. They weren't rich or nothing at all. So just lived a normal house life. But his father was the AB to all the kids. Especially my dad got the AB the most out of all of them. I'm not even joking with you all. My dad was beaten, hit. Even one time he came out and said, you do as what I say. If you don't, I will beat the snucking beep out of you. Oh yeah. His real dad was a freaking monster. Even monster so bad, he AB'd not just him, but all of his brothers and sisters, all the siblings. Even he AB'd his family so bad, it was not even funny. Also with this, it was absolutely ridiculous the way his real father treated his kids. He yelled at them, he AB'd them so bad, even beating them, even taking his belt off, even chasing them down alleys and beating the crap out of them. And some of you are thinking, you gotta be kidding. I'm like, no. His real father was evil. I mean, not even joking. His real father was evil. Evil. But yeah, and then do you all remember back in the 60s? If you remember from the 60s for your family members telling you this, leave it down leave it down in the comment section. Do you remember, like, back in the day when, back then in the middle 60s, when you could go get a small popcorn, a drink, and maybe a candy bar if you're lucky, and go to a movie for a quarter or 50 cents? Well, him and his siblings were leaving, and they were going to walk and go over to the movies. Well, guess what? One day, his real dad snuck around some corners and didn't even know about it, and jumped them, and said, "Give me all your money." And they said no, and you know what he did? He took his belt off, and he chased them down that alley, and beat the crap out of them. He actually beat them with his belt. I'm not even joking with you all. He beat my dad and the rest of his other brothers and sisters, even his own daughters. He beaten the crap out of them. And then they gave him the money, and you know what he did with the money? He went out to the freaking bar and get freaking drunk. He went to the bar and got freaking drunk. That tells you his real dad was a drunk addict. And also, I think he also did drugs. I think he was buying drugs and was drinking. And honest to me, his real father beating them so bad. And after this happened, that was the last straw. Really, just for a quarter. You can go to the movies and get a popcorn and a drink for a quarter. And go watch a movie for just a quarter. And I'm telling you all. And then he takes that money and goes to the bar. And the kids go home screaming and crying, and my grandma, which is their mom, and they're like, "What happened?" And then she heard that, and that was the last straw. That was the last straw that when she heard from that. And also, so after this happened, well, then I think it was whenever time later, my dad was sleeping on the couch, and then he heard a lot of argument, so then he woke up from the kitchen, and all of a sudden, he was A-being my grandma, which was his own wife. He was beating the crap out of her, even grabbing her by the throat, even yelling and cussing at her. All that. I'm not even kidding. So my dad heard this, and he was even beating her and everything. So you know what my dad did? There was a beer bottle, because he drank a lot. That man was a freaking drunk. And what happened was that he had a beer bottle. So my dad found the beer bottle, so he picked it up. And that's when he threw it. Because he thought maybe he can aim and hit him. But what happened was they moved, and he missed and hit a window. And guess what? Well, when he hit that window, I can tell you, when he hit that window, there was a cop car driving down the road and saw that window, saw a beer bottle just hit a window. So they stopped and got out of the car. And then automatically knocked on the door. And they heard a lot of screaming. That's when they barged in. And they arrested him. They arrested him big time. And those cops were so disgusted of what he did to these kids as well. Because they told the cops what he did. Get this crap. The cops said, "Go find the most horrible and disgusting cell that you can find." And that's where they threw him in there. But also something else too, he was charged. My dad did not know until the cops told him. Get this crap. He was FBI most wanted. He was wanted in two or three different states. I'm not even kidding. He was wanted in 2 to 3 different states. Plus, get this crap. He even robbed a jewelry store. He robbed a jewelry store to go steal his mom's ring. I'm not even joking, kidding with you all. He went and stole his mom's ring out of a jewelry store. And he was wanted for that. And he was wanted for 2 other states. For 2 or 3 other states for some reason. So mostly side story, yeah, his real dad, beat the kids and his own wife. He's a complete drunk, and I think he did drugs. And he even threatened them to almost try to get their lives ended. That tells you how bad his real father was. His real father was a freaking monster, and his real father was a piece of trash. So I asked my dad, he's not part of my family, is he? Our family, he said, absolutely not. I would not have him a part of our family at all. Period. That is the end of that conversation right there. So yeah, he got thrown in jail and everything, his real dad. And he got released. After that, he got released. And a year later, he ended up passing away. My dad got the call. My dad said, so? The way he did us, him and his family, some of the rest of those kids went to his funeral. But my dad did not even go. His wife did. which was my grandmother, she did not go. That tells you how bad this man was. I tell you, that man can rot and you know what in back. That man can rot for all I care about that man. So yeah, and then my dad's stepdad came into the picture, and I'm going to tell you all, my dad's stepdad gave my dad a much better child life than what his real father did to him, okay? Also, he was a businessman, furniture store man for a businessman for over 50 years. He made sure he gave my dad a better child life. He took him hunting, took him fishing, did all kinds of stuff, even hanging out, doing stuff together. Even talking about the old times and the old days they had together. But at least the positive thing, like I said earlier, and I will say this again, at least my dad got to talk to him before he passed. So he did get to hear my dad. He knows how much we all loved him. So he ended up passing away on April 27th. And the funeral was on viewing was May 1st, and then they had the funeral May 2nd. So then we had to make the decision if we were going to make the trip. Well, then my dad just got the pinched nerve on his back recently, and he has blood clots. The problem is he can only drive for an hour, and he has to get up and walk for an hour. And the funeral home and where the hotel and everything is, it's like 6.5 hours away from where we live. And we're like, okay, this is not going to work. So we decided not to go. And he regrets it, and I tell you, man, he regrets ever since. Well, then the same day, after his funeral and his burial, well, then what happened on Friday, I ended up getting a phone call. Now, this involves with the second family member now. I think I have an uncle. We always call him Uncle John. I'm telling you, one of the nicest man ever. Nicest person ever, man as could be. He's one of these people that would give his shirt off his back for you. He's one of these people that doesn't, like with this and this. He's one of these people that really wants to help people. That's how he was. He's funny and everything. I tell you guys, aunt, I'm going to tell you, my aunt definitely 100% really nice lady. They all understood my disability, and I tell you, me and Uncle John, we got along very well. Nicest man this could be. When they had those 4th of July parties next door, me and my mom, she asked me, and I said, yeah, I'll go tag along. So we would stay with him. We would bring him food and everything. We would talk for hours. When they're out there partying, they're like, no, we'll stay here and we'll talk to him for a couple hours. Gave him all the company. He really enjoyed it. He actually, tell you all, he really enjoyed having me and my mom around. He really did. And this is the worst, saddest part. There was family over there next door, and they were charging money to him to do this and this. Like, hey, charge us free $400 to mow your grass. And that's freaking next door. Family next door. I'm like, you got to be freaking kidding me. So my dad said, you know what? No. I am not charging him a darn thing. So my dad went over there and he mowed his grass for him. And of course, he tried to get my dad gas money, and he's like, no. And he said, I'm going to come put a knot inside your head, boy. And they always joke around and stuff. So my dad takes the hat off. He says, here, put my knot inside my head. And he just laughs and everything. But yeah, I can tell you all, Uncle John meant so much to our family and everything. Well, then, on Saturday, I ended up getting a phone call in the afternoon with some sad news. So what happened was, before I tell you that one, he was outside, and the day I was not feeling good that day. It was hot outside, and it was almost 90 degrees outside, felt like. It was hot. Well, he was outside pooning outside, which he likes to go outside and walk, which that's good for him. Well, what happened was, so one of his daughters looked out the window. He was out walking. Everything was fine. Well, then sometime later, she looked out the window again. Right there he was laying, finding out he stopped breathing. He didn't have a pulse. And what happened was he had a heart attack. He was in the hospital and everything for, well, then about a day or two later. Well, then on Saturday, we end up getting some sad, bad news that he ended up passing away. And when I first heard that news, I'm like, oh. I told my mom, you realize we have I think, yeah, we have lost 2 family members in about 6-7 days. We have lost not 1, but 2. 2 family members in a short time period. I'm telling you all, our family right now is just, of course, we're all hanging in there. I'm taking it day by day. But I told my mom, I said, I'm not sure if I can even go in that funeral home. Because some people say, why? You should go see him. Well, here's the problem. Remember a year ago when my nephew passed? It's at that same funeral home where he was. And that was the last time I stepped foot in there. I told my mom, I said, I'm not sure if I could step in there. So, but yeah, I will know my decision by tomorrow. Because that's when they're doing his funeral and stuff tomorrow. So, only thing I can do is just, I'll wait and see. But if not, I already done talked to the rest of the family and told them, I said, I don't think I can handle it. And I told them I just may want to remember him as he is. And the rest of the family, they all understand. They all understood what happened with my situation last year. And, like they know, I tell them if I can't be there, I know I'm thinking about you all and everything. And I tell you all, it's been rough. It's been very rough in the last couple of days. From, well, first losing my dad's stepdad, which he called me one of his grandchildren, 100%. He said, and what he did was with my dad's stepdad, he said, no, you're my real kid. That's how his stepdad was. And then my uncle, Uncle John, one of the nicest person ever. One of these people that has a heart of gold, give a shirt off back for you. But yeah, they're doing his viewing and funeral tomorrow. Again, like I say, that's the same funeral home where my nephew was. I'm not sure if I can. And my mom and we all talked, and like my mom said, I just don't know if I can do it. It's either that or I'm going to go stir crazy and run out of there. So, I don't know if I can handle it, but, so yeah. Also, send a lot of love and thoughts and prayers for us. We need them at this time. So, but one more thing, we're going to get right in this video here. So yeah, I'm going to take a couple of weeks off of YouTube. I'm going to take about 3 weeks off just to try to clear my head and my mind. But I am going to try to work on some YouTube stuff so I can get caught up and stuff as well. So I'm going to try to work on some of that to keep my mind off of it a little bit. But I'm going to take a couple of weeks off of YouTube. So I'm going to take 3 weeks off, 3 weeks, and then I'll put down in the description the date when I'm coming back to YouTube. But I just need to take a couple of weeks off to clear my mind and everything. So, but yeah. So, and then also, I want to wish you all, and I hope you all have a great and safe Mother's Day, because you're not going to see me for a couple of weeks and stuff. So I want to wish all the mothers out there, you all mothers out there, a happy and safe Mother's Day. Hope you all have a great Mother's Day as well. And also, one more thing, our thoughts and prayers are with down in the South with Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, all of them with the severe storms, the tornadoes down there, and then they're getting hit today. So be safe out there. If you're watching this, be safe. And just be safe out there, because you just never know these day and ages. So I'm going to end this here. So thank you all so much for watching. Like this video for each prayer, and also leave in the comment section love and thoughts and prayers, and comment down below how much did it cost for you to go to the movies back in the 50s and 60s, maybe 50s or 70s back in the day. I don't know, you can leave that in the comments if you want. So anyway, thank you all so much, you all, for watching. Stay safe out there. God bless you all. And hit that like button. Turn on your post notifications. Hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 100 plus subscribers. But I really don't care about the subscriber thing right now. I just care about this. So anyway, have a great rest of your Monday. Hopefully this gets much better for us and it doesn't get any more worse for us. So anyway, thank you all. Stay safe out there, everybody. And I'll see you when I come back to YouTube. Thank you all. Take care and good night.